Welcome. We are here on Legacy of Leaders with my co-host John Heyman. I'm Dan Edelman. And with us today is Stephen Joost of Yoga Den Franchising and Vincent Burchianti of Business Growth Strategies. Both gentlemen used to be with Firehouse Subs and have now moved on and are doing wonderful things in the community, both business-wise and nonprofit-wise. Maybe Stephen or Vince, you want to start and just give us a little background on what you're doing today in the nonprofit world as well as the business world.
Sure, I'll go first, okay? All right. About a year ago, last December, I started doing yoga to try to help my golf game. And so started doing it, and lo and behold, looked around, enjoyed it so much. I introduced myself to the owners, and back in this May, we formed a franchising company. And so we're franchising yoga dens, and hopefully the goal is to, it started here in Jacksonville 20 years ago, and we want to build it into a national brand. And the health benefits are absolutely phenomenal. I had tendonitis in both my forearms. And so I went to the PT, I did acupuncture, anything you could think of. And yoga is what's cured it because it's loosened my back up and strengthened my forearms. And so that's what I'm doing business-wise. And as far as like what I've been doing in the community, I do a lot of work with the Lynn Matisse Foundation. And so he has two goals. Obviously, he's one of the best golfers from Jacksonville, Florida. So he likes to help the first tee, and then his other initiative is anti-bullying in the schools. And so we started in Duval County, and it was so successful that Clay County and St. Johns County picked it up. And so now he's reaching tens of thousands of students. October is anti-bullying month here in Jacksonville, the Duval County Public Schools. So the timing of the interview is perfect. And what he does is what's so unique is he doesn't come up with the message. He has contests and the kids come up with the message. And it's absolutely incredible. One girl composed a song, another one did an animation, and another one had a contest within a contest. She loves baking. And so did a Facebook campaign and said, who gives me the best recipe? And took that and used that as a message for an anti-bullying campaign on Facebook. And so the creativity of just, unfortunately the media is so negative with schools. And just when you start to get down and on the schools and the future generations, you go out and you see this stuff and you're like, I think we're in pretty good hands.
Well, and Stephen, I don't want to miss the opportunity, as far as you giving back to the community when you were a city council person for many years, and we appreciate that as citizens. And then, I'll mention and sort of toss it to Vince. Obviously, both of you were very involved in the Firehouse Subs Foundation. I think, Vince, you're still involved in that, and maybe you can sort of talk about that foundation as well as what you're doing now that Firehouse has been sold.
Yeah, absolutely. The foundation gives back to the community and multiple communities throughout the nation by donating life-saving equipment to first responders, which there's always a need for fresh new equipment to make sure that the professionals have what they need to save somebody's life, which is the case. They are definitely saving lives through that great foundation and organization. So I'm proud to be part of that team. For myself, I started my business back in May and focused really on consulting for entrepreneurs that have a great idea and a great passion, helping them to build strategic plans to get them to grow really to a vision that they really want to aspire to, and obviously to be successful. And really enjoying that. A lot different than sitting back behind a desk for so many years, with great staff, and so not working out of the house, but being able to tap in with some great people that just really want to grow and love the mentoring side of the business as well. And I'm the big believer of development for people and staff to try to make them better tomorrow. They have to be better tomorrow. And so I'm big on that. And once you have a great team, with great skill set, then any idea that anybody has will really end up being successful.
That's fantastic. Stephen, I've known you for a long time. Vincent, good to meet you. You know my heart is in the nonprofit world. They are the heart and soul of any city, and you have been incredibly generous. What I find fascinating is both of you are not with Firehouse, and yet you speak highly of it. Guess where I'm going to lunch? Seriously. But this show is called Legacy of Leaders. So I'm going to ask both of you, could you give some advice to anybody watching the show of how to be a leader in business and in the community? Stephen, how about if you go first?
Sure. I think it goes back to the old adage, is like, what you get is what you put in, okay? Whether it's family, community, whatever. That's one of the reasons really why I ran for city council back in the day, because I've always, cared about the community. And so I would just say find something you're passionate about, whether it's working. I'm like, there's so many needs out there, homelessness, veterans, schools, whatever, and find something that you're really interested in. And as you build your business, your employees, your customers, your vendors, they see this, and they see you giving back, and it inspires them. And even though they may not say anything, they're watching. Your employees are always watching, and that's one of the keys to leadership. Is giving back. Your business is extremely important. That's how you feed your family. That's how you grow. But your employees are watching, and when you show them, it's more than just about the business. They get that, and that inspires them. And you build a culture in your company. And a lot of it can be through nonprofit leadership.
Yeah, well, and there's a fine balance. If a business owner does not make money, there's no money to support the nonprofits. There's no staff to volunteer for the nonprofits.
Yeah, but you can always give your time. It doesn't always have to be treasury.
Right.
Time and talent's extremely important.
Yep.
And I've done a lot of that over the years. It's like I said, it's probably actually more effective to be involved when you don't have the money, because it means a lot more. It's a lot easier to write a check.
I used to work with you when you were on the city council during the budget crunch years. They were tough years, and you never voted against children. So thank you for that. Vincent, what's your advice to leaders in business and in the community?
I think I'm real big about missions and purpose. And I think all companies have a mission and purpose. They really need to identify it. And then once they identify what their purpose is, push that down to their staff. And because you have to get everybody involved, everybody, get hooked to the wagon. And when you start pushing in the right direction, then you'll be successful. The one thing I like with the work that have been doing at Firehouse and what I'm currently doing with my consulting business is, every time you grow a business, you're creating jobs. And I think that's huge, because everyone needs a job. And so the more growth you have, you can add additional talent to your team, and then obviously you can give them the leadership that they need, that they can go on and then do the same thing. Just keep replicating the growth cycle of creating jobs.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Vincent. We've had a great show today. Really, check out Vincent's consulting company. It's on the bottom of your screen, and Stephen Joost's yoga studios. If you're really interested in learning more about yoga, you heard his story, but also his business story as well. So on behalf of Dan, my co-host, and myself, John Heyman, it's great to have you. Have a wonderful day.